back here with more Citizen Sleeper 2. Sorry that I'm even later than normal here tonight, friends. As I was like getting ready to start working on dinner, I got an email from work that not like a life-changing email, but the kind of email where like, all right, well, I need to respond to this like right now and work through some of these things that is being requested of me. And so had to work through a couple of those things, but I got that done. At least until tomorrow. Got dinner done. Got to eat dinner. And now I'm ready to hang out with all of you for more Citizen Sleeper 2. Marissa was mentioning the fact that the title goes hard, and I think it fits about right. There's this notion, of we found out some things in the last stream that I think really puts an influence on how the rest of this game goes. A little bit of background real quick. Citizen Sleeper 2, for all intents and purposes, you're kind of an android, but with a human brain in a space world trying to dodge a gang leader who is trying to hunt you down. Apparently, this gang leader, over the course of months and possibly years, dosed you with a certain chemical, a certain, chemical, I guess is the right way to put it, disguised as medicine for you, that has slowly changed the makeup of your android body and mind. And it was discovered by a doctor that we found on one of the space stations that it has been changing our physiology for a long time, and that we are slowly probably losing control of our body. We went through a whole side quest to see if we could find a way to recover from that, to try to fight back against what this was doing to ourselves. And we got it. We did the thing we needed to do. We had this whole process, only to find out that the situation is probably irreversible and unstoppable. That there is no other recourse than the idea that our body is slowly going to turn into something else without our permission, without our agency, and that we will probably lose our mind and ability to control it eventually. We don't know when. We don't know how long that process is going to take. We don't know if we're like really close to it or if it's going to happen in, over the course of the next couple of years. We just know that the gang leader has the ability to essentially remote into our body from time to time and mess with our brain and mess with our hands. And we don't know how much control he already has. And so the only recourse we have at this point is to continue living, to continue to evade his the gang leader's advances, to help our friends in the ways that we can for as long as we can, to take control of whatever remaining semblance we have of our life, and to live as it is our only form of rebellion left. So yeah, that's that explains a little bit of the title here for tonight's stream. But it's a heck of a thing. I saw an announcement post from Jambuds to make a Discord event. Sure, yeah. A little bit of a programming note, friends. We're still going to stream tomorrow night or Saturday night, but during the day, I think it's like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock Central. I'm going to be hanging over at Jambuds, James Brown Jr.'s Twitch channel, and we're going to do a live react to an AFMAL video. It's not something I don't think I'm that interested in doing directly on this here Twitch channel or anything like that in the future, but I was invited, and I think it could be some fun. And if people like it, maybe we'll go through it together. And those of you who are not maybe AFMAL fans, but still kind of want to see my response to how things go in these videos, might be kind of a fun behind the scenes. There's not a ton I can reveal about the behind the scenes work, of course, because NDAs. But it's still be pretty fun. Anyway, hello, Clone Genius, Butterscotch, Scotia. Am we going to voice Pierce from Minor Demons anytime soon? As soon as they make more Minor Demons. Hello, Lig Wolf. How you doing? Hello, Kato-chan and MJ Evans and Twister and AJ Midnight Smoke and Cunning and Draco and Miss and I think that and Kato-chan, if I didn't already say your name, hello. Hello, Marista. Hello, Draco and Cunning and Catalyst the Spirit. I think that just about catches me up. And Serenix! Yes, absolutely. Very excited for the sequel. You loved the first game. We're probably this is what, our fourth stream into this? And I'm going to tell you right now, Serenix, if you enjoyed the first game, this game is great. In fact, I'm just going to say it's better. It's better than the first game. They did a lot of really cool things with it, and you should definitely go get it yourself. And you can still watch, because what's fun about this stuff, too, is it's what's the word I'm looking for? Different branching paths for this game. You could absolutely have a very different gameplay experience than I have necessarily. Hello, Pierce's favorite sheep. I appreciate you, but you should really make sure that you get yourself some sleep, especially if you got like school in the morning or something like that. Also, you don't have to use the all caps, but hi, regardless. Okay, let's get going, shall we? Continue. I'm 63 cycles in. So where did we leave off? We're currently hanging out on a space station here that we used mainly as a source of refueling. This is kind of a refuel point between two distinct areas of the belt that we're presently on. Over here is kind of where we've been hanging out for the most part. We started off, well, actually here, let me really catch you back up. We started the game on a station that I don't think we have access to right now. I could be wrong, but I'm guessing that we probably aren't allowed to go back there because we'll be hunted and killed immediately. So we've been wandering around this here kind of belt, right? The belt of mostly asteroids that also contains various stations that I believe kind of work as a demilitarized zone between two warring corporations. We're able to jump through all these various things. But we have to make sure we have direct paths to each location. We started at a station called Darkside, which was a bunch of houses and workshops and facilities that sit behind, I think, just like solar catchers. Like an entire, city's worth of solar catchers that the city was then built behind. We started there. Then we went to Hex. No, there's Darkside right there. We can't go to Darkside. That's the place we started. So we escaped Darkside and our captors and tried to escape to, let's see here. Trying to figure out where the bad is. I think it may have already faded. To another station called Hexport, which had a couple of hexagonal panels to a large settlement. We left there, and immediately upon leaving, the Hexport detonated. Everyone aboard dead. And so we have avoided that place because it has caused a lot of radiation that we're no longer allowed to engage with. And so we've been wandering around. We started off, we kind of blew away from the explosion over to Far Spindle, made some friends there. We then traveled outwards on a few different contracts around here. Then bounced over to Flotsam, where we found the doctor who told us there's nothing we could do about it. We checked out the Hellion Gate, which is an old derelict, massive ship that we were able to kind of collect some resources from. We've been to the Green Belt, which is a place that we can gain a lot of food, because that's actually one of the biggest food producers in the belt here. And then we didn't go to the scatter yards, but we did head our way back up then to where we are presently, and now, which is kind of a way station, and now up to Wellspring, which is where a lot of the water for the belt comes from. We have reason to believe that one of the friends in our crew has a sister who's presently in Wellspring. And so we're going to follow a lead tonight to see if we can try and find them. One thing I'll mention, by the way, Miss, for that statement, I I definitely didn't come up with that that phrase. That is definitely something I probably semi-consciously co-opted from the LGBTQ movement. But I think it is appropriate both for this game and for the present situation or political climate we find ourselves in. So I think it works out well. And thank you, by the way, Abyssal for the 70 months. Tier 3, no less. Get those up thoughts in chat, please, and thank you. And then also, Sierra, thank you very much for the 17 months. Get those some thoughts and dances in chat there as well. Hello, Azrael, and everybody else coming in here to answer your question. You didn't ask it yet, but I'll tell you right now, because I know you. I'm at 10,964 steps. Did it pretty good, you know? I went to the gym today. I didn't have a lot of recording to do, so I went to the gym, got my workout on, passed out for a little bit afterwards because I worked a little too hard, but felt good afterwards, and I'm going to hit 11,000 steps before the end, so yeah, it's pretty good. Hello, sweetest Spitfire. How you doing tonight? And Ziamice and everybody else coming in here. Hello, hello, hello. All right, let's get off this station. I might buy some supplies. I don't know what awaits us coming up, and so it might be a good idea to just kind of buy a little bit of food if we get the chance. I think it's a little expensive here, which is why I initially balked at the idea. But it might be nice to at least have one or two more, if anything. So I'm going to buy some supplies here, use my cryo at the bottom here in order to purchase it up. And I think we'll be good. Now, to this game, what's the name of the character you're playing? Interestingly enough, the characters in the Citizen Sleeper games don't get names. They are just known as sleepers, which is a name given to these androids who are robotic or like synthetic human bodies with emulated brains of real human beings. The real human beings signed off to their intellectual rights to a corporation who then can implant them into hardy robot bodies, which they then forced to do terrible, horrific, dangerous labor until the body decays or the contract expires. Our sleeper managed to escape that corporation and has been on the run ever since. Same with the first game, too, by the way. Citizen Sleeper actually focuses a lot more on that initial escape from the corporation. This game is a little bit less of that. The implication is that a lot of the stuff that we did in the first game to try to like avoid the corporations, for this sleeper, which is a separate sleeper from the first game, mind you, managed to do all those things, mostly with the help of a gang on Darkside that also messed with their body in an irreversible and highly ethically immoral manner. What I'm drinking tonight is some lovely Rishi jasmine tea. I asked Marissa if I could buy more tea because I missed my jasmine, and I finally have it. I don't want to derail things. Yeah, so that's true. We haven't done a stream since Twitch and made that announcement. If you guys didn't see, because I'm sure not all of you follow so intensely the mannerisms and small feature updates about Twitch, like I should have to. Twitch has decided that stored videos on your channel, so they're called VODs for short, video on demand, instead of live streams. Recorded things that are archived on this channel can only have, moving forward, mid-April, we can only have 100 hours of Twitch footage on the channel. To be clear, when they made that announcement, I, and this channel, therefore, had, and I'll bring this up just so I can remember, 4,763 hours and 55 minutes of our allotted 100 hours of storage space. And so they've given us 2 months to try and clear, bring that all the way from 4,700 hours down to 100 hours. The plan as of present, and some very diligent and wonderful volunteers have already started digging into this, is that we are going to try to shift that all over, like people trying to save artwork from a fire. We're just shoving it out the door and get it over onto the YouTube channel for storage and safekeeping as fast as we possibly can. It's all going over to YouTube. Shadow Temple Streams is the YouTube channel that it is all going to. So hopefully we'll start to kind of load that up. We already have a handful of volunteers. I don't know if to answer a potential question here, I don't know if we want more volunteers for that. We probably do. There's kind of what we've determined is that the Twitch to YouTube export system has certain limitations. They don't like handling a lot of videos at the same time. Surprise! So having more hands on it might not help, but it might be nice over the course of 2 months to have more hands. So if you have been a helper for me in the past and helped with this, it might be nice if you tune back into the helper channel on the Discord server. If you haven't helped before and you're interested, maybe DM me and I'll keep you on a list. And if you're feeling like we're getting overexerted, we'll get a couple of extra hands on it. I think Ora Morgan did a calculation and said something to the effect that we need. So how this has been working, by the way, friends, dear, beautiful, wonderful Twister in chat has been cutting our streams in half for years. So every 3 hour stream that we do is cut into roughly 1.5 hour segments, right? Deleting the original Hatful Boyfriends VODs on Twitch would hit as hard as it did. Oh, but we're getting them back on. They're the first episode's on the already live and public on the YouTube channel, and I will get the rest of them loaded up here as well. But yeah, we cut them up into 1.5 hour segments, and so as a result, each stream that we do that has a story element to it, or we consider to be significant enough to store, has at least 2 VODs attached to it. Because of that, it means that we, according to Ora Morgan's calculations, we need to move about 20 VODs a day between now and about mid-March, and then we can, of course, kind of make sure that we're doing okay in order to make sure we clear our whole stash. It's a whole trip. It's a whole dang trip. Do we have a Trello? No, I've got some Google Docs and some spreadsheets we're using to keep track of what's been shifted over and what hasn't been. But it's gonna be a little of a mess coming up here. So yeah. Long story short, in case it isn't clear, I'm not very pleased about it because Twitch didn't really give it. I mean, 2 months, sure, but that's not for almost 5,000 hours of content. That's not enough. That's not a lot of time to tell us about this thing. And we're trying to work through how to make that happen. So yeah, that's our response to that so far. Can Panic relocate server data? There you go. That's the play. Honestly, it wouldn't even be that bad if the YouTube exporter for Twitch was better. But that, I'm guessing that bit of code hasn't had some TLC in probably like 5 years. And sometimes it just doesn't work, and it doesn't explain why. It just, I'll get an email that says, sorry, we couldn't send this over. Sorry. And that's it. That's all that it says. And it's like, 100 hours of highlighted and uploads only? Yes. So that's the trick, right? We have 60 days of VOD storage after initial streams, right? So yeah, thankfully I don't think I would have to get clarification for that, but when this stream is done, you'll be able to watch this stream, this past broadcasted stream, from today all the way until, well, ironically, about the day that they start deleting the VODs. The way that you kept your VODs for perpetuity instead of losing them after those 60 days, however, was to save them as highlights on Twitch. Highlights were a system by which you could cut up your original streams and make them into smaller videos, and that would, or the same length video if you really want to, and that would allow you to keep things forever because they didn't have a limit. The only limit they had was that they had 100 collections that you could have. So you couldn't do 100 more than 100 different collections of video games. But yeah, so I think the whole collecting thing and things like that is just not going to be very useful for us moving forward. And we need to come up with a new system for all this coming up here. But in the meantime, right now, it's just shove everything out the door because YouTube will collect it all and we'll worry about the details of all that later, if that makes sense. So, yeah, that's all that's going on. Hold on. Someone's asking me about something here, and then we'll be fine and ready. All right, I'm finally ready to get started. Am I asking for help collecting the VODs? The answer is, if you're interested and you have time ahead of you in the next couple of weeks, sure, DM me on Discord and we'll talk. Whether or not I need new volunteers right now, I'm not certain about. I think we have at least 3 or 4 people that are 3 people that are already working on it, and then a 4th or 5th that are like, yeah, soon. But I might keep a couple hands because ultimately this is volunteer work. I don't have money to give you, but I will probably thank all the people who helped me in some way, some goofy Shadow Temple way, coming up here. But yeah, the ultimately, I don't want to overexert people who volunteer to do things. Does that make sense? I want to make sure that I value their time, and that if they're starting to get too worked up or there are issues coming up towards that deadline, that we have other bodies that might be able to help. More bricks? I mean, if people want bricks, I can. You want me to throw a brick, eh? I can throw a brick, eh? Brick is one of the couple of options, perhaps, Cunning, which I'd be happy to do. I think it's funny, but we can come up with. I can be more creative. We'll see. We'll figure it out. All right. To the video games. Shadow Temple branded bricks would be so funny. I mean, have you? I don't know if you saw the original Shadow Temple branded brick, but there is one out there. There is one out there. I'm trying to decide whether or not to keep it as a one-off, or if I do more in the future. But I'm gonna get into a video game here, friends, because I have spent enough time talking about myself and my own problems and worries out here. Let's instead simulate problems and worries of somebody else. Hooray! One last thing, though. Okay, I did burn all my dice. I just wanted to make sure. You know what? I'm actually gonna spend one cycle here wouldn't hurt. One cycle here, burn some dice, make some money. Give us a little extra time. Oh, I shouldn't have kept them on fuel. I should have kept them on supplies. That's fine. Oh, for volunteers. Yeah. Maybe that's just the standard Shadow Temple recognition of favor and service, that I just send bricks to people in the mail. Maybe that's what I do. I promise, if you haven't seen it, it's more than just me writing Sharpie on a brick. It is way nicer and cuter than that. But yeah, maybe that's just my vibe. Maybe that's just what I do. And if you help out with the channel enough, you can build an entire pathway in your backyard featuring entirely Shadow Temple branded bricks. I know I will. Just start rewarding myself. Shadow Brick is the highest honor. I love it because it's a gift that has literal weight to it. And it takes more effort than it's probably worth. And that's exactly the amount of energy that I want out of something like that. I think is too good. You know what's not too good, though, is the terrible dice rolls I just had. Dear Lord. Those are some bad dice. Just pieces of my face. You need to collect them all to make your face. Whoa. And then you can step on my face all day. Don't think about that too hard. All right, let's, do I even want to bother using these dice? Ugh, that sucks. I'll throw one in just to see what happens. Yeah, I made 9 cryo. Great, fantastic. I'm getting out of here. Sending out to Wellspring. Next up. What's my favorite show? What's my favorite show? I've been trying, like, I want to get into a couple more new shows because I feel like there's a lot out there that would hit with me really well, and I haven't touched it yet. Severance, I think, is definitely up there for shows that I want to see because I think it would very much be my kind of jam. The Good Place is probably one of my favorite shows. It's just, I enjoy a show that definitely was billed to the people who paid for it to be one thing, and then once it got popular enough that they turned it into a much cooler and more beautiful thing as a result. And The Good Place is a very, very good example of that. Should have just been kind of a fun, quirky, NBC sitcom. And they went so much further with the concept than I thought it would, and it was very fun. I'm a comedy man, so I tend to enjoy a good comedy. All right, let's see what's going on. Mob Psycho. What? Mob Psycho. Huh. Trying to figure out what this is, because we have Seraphim right here. And then someone's shouting Seraphim. Who's shouting at them? Seraphim! The shout echoes through the ship, reaching you in the cockpit. You see the angle of Seraphim's head change, but he does not respond otherwise. Did you hear that? Seraphim sighs. Yes, I heard. He looks back at you. How about you go see what they want? You unstrap from your seat and glide out of the cockpit. I'm the person who's nice and helps out people. That's I don't trust Seraphim to handle social issues. You run into Bliss in the corridor. Where's Seraphim? He's got to be the guilty one. They look impatiently over your shoulder. Bliss shakes their head. Come on, you need to see this. You follow the irritated Bliss through the ship, down into the cramped storage units tucked between the main ship and the hull. As you enter, you are greeted by total chaos. Amber globs of liquid ration float in the air and cling to the walls, while chunks of dried food spin slowly, breaking into crumbs. See? Bliss fumes. Someone opened up one of the supply crates and left it like this. They point to a crate in the storage netting with the lid pushed open. You look into the mess spilling out from the crate. Who could have done this? All right, let's give a roll. Come on, give me something good. Yeah! You take a moment to pick through the food and find a torn open pouch of liquid rations. You turn it in the light and see a set of evenly spaced gashes at the edge. Are those claw marks? Bliss puffs out their cheeks. I need a break from this ship. They look at you. Help me tidy this up. You spend the rest of the journey packing the crate away and disposing of the spoiled supplies. But as you do, you can't help but wonder what actually happened here. When you're finished, you take one last look around at the storage bay. As you gaze around the now cleared space, you have the same feeling of being observed by unseen eyes as you felt in the tunnels of Holmes Rock. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, dear. I don't like the sound of that. Do we have a little hangers-on somewhere? Do we have a little alien guy? You found the fabled Kurt character from Phoenix Drop Days. You got bored and went deep diving some vids. What'd you think of my performance? To this day, I actually don't know how that character was supposed to be. I got direction. I got direction for Kurt in Phoenix Drop Days. Give him the voice of the husband of the baker from Kiki's delivery service in order like to give him that voice. And I don't know if you've seen Kiki's delivery service, but that man doesn't speak. Now, a little bit later in my acting career, I probably could have taken it a little bit more interestingly with that and understood what they were trying to get at a little bit more. But I was still very much baby voice actor back in 2019 when I got that role. And I was just very confused by it. So that's how Kurt ended up. As he brings the ship into Wellspring's docking ring, you notice a rare tension in Seraphin's piloting. He jerks the stick a little too hard while the docking bridge extends, and a proximity alarm goes off. He curses under his breath. You okay there? Just fine, Sleeper. He keeps his eyes on the monitors. I'll get Bliss to look at the lateral thrust control. It's a little sticky. It's not what I mean. Seraphin doesn't respond, but you see him grip the rig's controls a little tighter. As the ship stops, the docking bridge connected, you lean forward and look out of the cockpit windows, trying to get a good view of the icy surface of Wellspring below. The harsh, gleaming ice gives way to the steep sides of the cut, the asteroid's one city. It glows and steams with warmth, and peering down into it, you cannot see the bottom. Beyond, along the horizon, you see the terraces of the pithead, where the current extraction effort must be taking place. Seraphin runs the shutdown sequence and unclips from his seat. He turns back to you, a flinty look in his eye. I'm gonna head down to the cut. I got a few leads to follow up on. You get the sense he isn't asking for permission. Fine by me? He nods, grunts, and glides out of the cockpit. All right, see you, Pierce's favorite sheep. Yeah, get yourself some sleep. And also, Lig Wolf, have yourself a good night, too. Airbrain bully suited him pretty well. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know. You turn and watch as he pushes past Bliss in the doorway. I missed something? Bliss shoots you a look. He seems even more irritable than usual. I'm just gonna tell. We're shipmates, right? I don't think it's unreasonable to explain what we're trying to do here to the remaining members of our crew here, right? Bliss raises an eyebrow. Family trouble? Well, that'll explain the irritation levels. I would recommend... You zip up their jacket. We go after him before he pushes past someone that pushes back. Agreed. See you down there. At least Lane's unlikely to come out here to pick a fight with the Lotic Syndicate. Bliss shrugs. They turn and head towards the airlock, whistling softly as they do. I'll wait with the ship. Junie's voice echoes through the thin interior wall of the corridor. I've got archiving to catch up on. So do I. She pauses. There's nothing older than 1,000 cycles on that snowball anyway. Wellspring, the base of the Lotic Syndicate. As you look out across its icy surface, you remember Malik, the captain whose ship you saved, and for whom you surveyed the ice asteroid. You also remember how he promised to repay you for your actions, should you ever cross paths again. Perhaps Wellspring is a good place for you to make that happen. After all, if Seraphin's sister is here, surely the Lotic Syndicate would be the best place to find her. All right, so how this works every time we land at a new station, friends, is it's time to do a little bit of exploring. This is our ship, of course, the rig that we've been floating around in space with so far. I'm going to make sure my teammates start scavenging some fuel, because we'll need to take off from here at some point. Interestingly, yeah, actually, I noticed that little blip from Bliss mentioning that Vane, the gang leader who's trying to track us down, probably wouldn't mess with this particular station. And you'll notice, unlike the other places we've been to so far, there's no countdown here. There's no expectation of us leaving immediately if we spend too much time here, because he'll track us down. He's pushed off for now, which gives us a little time to wander. So we can either hang out in the cut. The cut is filled with Lotic workers, which makes for a brash and bold atmosphere. You need to be the same if you want to explore. Or I could hack their comms and learn more that way. And then meanwhile over here, yeah, way over here, the Wellspring Pithead is where, never mind. This is for employees only, and we are not yet an employee, or at least don't have access like an employee. So that sounds like probably a favor that we can get paid later. We were talking about the fact that one of their captains of the ships that bring water from this rock here to other places around the belt owes us something, and so I think that might be a good way to have that debt repaid. You know. All right, let's start throwing in. We are not good at engaging, by the way. That's just not how we do things here. I am very bad at confrontation. So we are going to instead hack their comms and see what we can get done here. Our objective here is to earn points towards understanding what's going on in the cut. And so what we got to do is we got to throw dice at the situation. And 6 is the highest number we can have. 6 is what I'm put in here. And we are guaranteed a win. +3. It seems the Syndicate knows much of what happens here, but they also have their blind spots. I'll put another 6 in here just to knock this thing out. You have a good sense of which passages to wander and which to avoid in this steaming vertical city.
Amazing to think this place supplies most of the belt's water.
Bliss looks across the cutwater as the workers in their distinctive yellow gear.
No wonder the Syndicate runs it like a corporation.
You look at those gathered in a low-ceilinged bar, gathered around cushioned couches and low magnetic tables, their voices bouncing off the metal walls. All of them wear Lodic clothing, a mark of their status as contractors for the belt's most powerful syndicate. You look back to Bliss, who is watching another group, quietly discussing something serious in the opposite corner. They get the job done. Bliss turns back to the bar and sips their drink through its metal straw.
Well, that's the thing. I've been looking around Chasm Row, searching out components in the markets. Down there, people don't seem so happy.
Bliss meets your eye.
There's been a lot of talk of contracts. It seems Lodic's been locking down its workers, giving the war in the inner system as an excuse.
They play with their metal straws, swirling the orbs of liquid in their sealed glass.
The pressure's building, Sleeper. We shouldn't hang around here much longer.
They sigh. We need to give Seraphin time.
Well?
Bliss raises an eyebrow.
Sounds like I'm not the only outsider who's been hanging out in Chasm Row. I heard someone complaining about a rude young man asking too many questions.
Bliss smiles.
Who else could that be?
They laugh.
That's the place to start if you want to find our boy. He said he was asking about the rhyme market, but I have no idea what that is.
Bliss looks out across the bar.
Definitely a touchy subject for locals, though.
I'll head there now. Bliss nods.
I'll finish my drink.
They smile.
Let me know how it goes.
You leave the cutwater, shouldering your way through a crowd of boisterous contractors. There's a conspiratorial mood to the conversations, now that Bliss has mentioned it, and you wonder what all the talk is about. You feel the sudden cold as you leave the steaming bar and enter one of the icy passages cut into the asteroid itself. Yeah, apparently it's the mob boss trying to chase us down isn't going to be the internal timer here, but instead the possible revolution about to unfold on the station might be. All this water in the hands of a single syndicate. If something goes wrong here, the belt will die of thirst long before the war reaches it. You turn up the collar of your jacket against the cold and head for Chasm Row. Dang, man. That's tough. That's rough out there, bud. Haha, great. Cool. Let's see, we got the Cutwater. We can do a shift. A boisterous workers bar filled with miners fresh from the pit head. They always need staff to fill in for those on shift. Yeah, no, that's not my gig. But I could buy a meal if I need it later. Probably will. Slow-cooked tomato and pepper stews. That sounds nice. That sounds tasty. Yes, by the way, in case if you're paying attention, you're like, hold on, Shadow said we're a robot. Why robot gotta eat? The long and short of it, apparently, is that, oh dear. the long and short of it is that in order for an emulated human brain to work in a robot, you still have to let the robot, or the human brain expects the body to still do human things. That includes breathing, even though it's unnecessary for the actual machine, eating and drinking, and sleeping. We haven't decided if pooping is necessary or not, but I'm interested. I'm interested. Okay, let's find the rhyme market. Bliss said Seraphin was hunting for the rhyme market. Whatever it is, you'll need to get to know the area and its hidden ways to find it. So we're gonna throw a couple of these on here. Again, if you haven't seen this game before, the gist of it's very tabletop kind of oriented. Like, you know, in Dungeons and Dragons, like when you enter a new town, you might wander around and try to figure out like who, you know, if you're looking for a particular shop or something, you might have to ask around, or you might have to like do some investigation, right? Same thing with this game. Welcome, Raiders. How you doing on this fine Thursday evening? Good evening, welcome. My name is Shadow Temple. God, it's Thursday, huh? Yeah, that's a whole thing, ain't it? Hopefully, to that end, MJ Evans, Raiders don't necessarily have to watch ads. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure that ads are disabled for people joining in from a raid, provided you allow the raid to bring you over, if that makes sense. If you jump over before, then you don't have to worry about ads. But yeah, that's how it's be. I know it's Thursday. It's crazy. I can't believe it. Hop, thank you very much for the raid. How was your stream? What were you up to? What's going on? Friends, Hop here has been a mod of this channel for many a year, and has started to, I know you're all adults, and I know you would be able to do all this without me, but sometimes when I see one of my dear mods go off and wander on their own, out of the nest, into their own stream, I can't help but feel like a proud papa. And you may have been accidentally muted for most of it. Uh-oh. Hey, now you're a real streamer. Now you're a real streamer is what's going on there. That's how it be. That's how it go. Anyway, hope you at least enjoyed yourself, even if maybe no one was able to enjoy you. But I appreciate you anyway. You have 3 instances of watching my stream. Yeah, you should close some of those tabs. Anyway, welcome to Citizen Sleeper 2. Long story short, robot trying to survive in a cool space, and it's fun. Tap for OBS and your mic was muted. No. See, you just got to do what I do, which is always have your mic be hot. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you're saying things that you shouldn't be saying on stream. That's on you at that point. You gotta tighten up, as they say. But yeah, that's how I do it, at least. All right. We were trying to find some place called the Rhyme Market for our friend who's looking for his sister who might be at the Rhyme Market. So I'm gonna drop some dice in here and see what happens. A hidden rhyme. Something about the flow of people and goods is wrong here. More people enter than leave. Boxes disappear down alleys. You're close. That is probably the more correct way, Hop. Like, especially if you have a microphone that has like a very obvious lit and unlit mic or mute button. Like when I had my Blue Yeti that I used to stream with, that blinks when it's muted. That's a sneaky good way to make sure you're not causing trouble for yourself. I like that part. Okay, that was a good roll there. I'm a little bit more worried about this 3 because it's a 3, and it means I have a 25% chance of a positive interaction, a 50% chance of a neutral, which is fine, and then a 25% negative, which we'll see. Neutral outcome, that's fine. You notice graphic markings on some of the shop fronts and heaters. Perhaps they lead somewhere. I am not going to use this 1, because that 1 will pretty much guarantee fail, and I'm not interested in failing if I can help it. So I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna go to bed. Fresh set of dice, new morning, new day, And look at that. We got ourselves a nice, beautiful set. And my friends Judy and Bliss managed to get ourselves 2 more units of gas, which is great. Okay, let's go back to Chasm Row and let's keep digging. See if we can find this mysterious rhyme market that we're so certain apparently exists. Nice cup of fresh dice to start the morning. And then I'll throw one more. I'll throw a 3 in there. Those 2 5s look too pretty, and I just need to get a neutral interaction here. No! It still worked! That was interesting. That the negative, even the negative response still got me a point towards it. It just happened to be that I had to pay somebody to do it. A dark, corroded door lies in front of you. The markings on it are right. This is the place. The markets of Chasm Row have become familiar in the past cycles. Their steaming, orange-lit depths, the persistent condensation on each unit's windows, the gleam of the amber workers' suits, each contributing to the particular atmosphere of this buried city. But among this, you have noticed other details too. The freelance crews on the hunt for illicit tech, the conversing workers who drop to a whisper when you pass, the light flickering up through floor grates, suggesting ever deeper layers. These are the details you have followed to the Rhyme Market, a place discussed in hushed tones in dimly lit rooms. And, as you drift towards what you know to be one of its entrances, the door bursts open in front of you. A large dark bundle glides out of the door and impacts the metal wall of the passage with an echoing bang. But your eyes are drawn by the imposing figure that hovers in the doorway, bracing himself on the frame.
Stay out of the Rhyme Market, rat!
The man sends an orb of spit spinning after the bundle. The bundle unfolds and you suddenly recognize Seraphim, winded, but straightening up to go back for more. I cannot stop them. What's going on? There was no way that was going to be a good roll for me. The man turns towards you as you shout, and Seraphim, seeing the opportunity, kicks off hard, flying into them with swinging fists. The two tumble in a flurry of blows, slamming into the doorframe until the man gets his legs between him and Seraphim and kicks him into the wall. Seraphim hits hard and floats away, a few crimson bubbles of blood drifting from his bust lip. Go to Seraphim. You glide over to Seraphim as he shakes himself awake. You put yourself between him and the figure.
You know when you're beaten, rat.
The man calls out.
It's time to go home and lick your wounds.
Seraphim exhales in frustration, his anger fading, replaced by the stinging pain of his injuries. You watch a perfectly round blob of blood form at the bottom of his nose. Want to explain what's happening?
For the record,
the man folds his arms.
This one started it.
He looks between the two of you.
Snooping around our meeting like a rat.
You see his sharp eyes recalculating the situation since your arrival.
I wasn't snooping. I'm looking for someone.
Seraphim glares.
If you'd taken a minute to talk to me before throwing a punch, maybe you would have got that.
The man scratches his beard, squinting at Seraphim.
Say I believe you. What were you doing at the meeting then? Missing persons ain't our business.
All I heard is this is where a lot of contractors meet.
Seraphim sighs.
I don't like you hearing that. Not at all. I'm gonna need you to ask you who told you that later.
He straightens up.
But yeah, this is where the contractors meet, as if that's anything to you.
The person I'm looking for is a contractor.
Seraphim's frustration rises again.
She uses the cover name Luz.
He pauses, a desperation entering his voice.
Please. I think she might be my sister.
Something changes in the man's stance. He holds up a massive hand to silence Seraphim and looks down the passage in both directions.
Not here.
He retreats through the door.
Get in.
As you both enter, he reaches past you and slams the metal door behind, spinning the locking wheel with one hand.
I'm Kirk,
he grunts, pointing at himself with a thick thumb.
Contractors are my concern, but if Lotta catch us discussing contracts out there...
He shakes his head. He turns and leads you down the passage. You pass an open door and you glance inside to see a group gathered in a circle. all of them in workers' clothes. They are speaking in hushed voices. One of them exchanges a nod with Kirk.
Let's not interrupt the meeting anymore, shall we?
He glares playfully at Seraphin, who remains silent. Kirk leads you up the side of a massive vertical metal pipe with a rough hole cut in the side. He beckons you both inside. You descend through the pipe in silence and darkness. Should be mentioned, by the way, in case it isn't clear, this whole game, it seems none of the stations we go to have any artificial gravity or any real gravity either. So everything that we do should be noted that everything's happening in 0G all the time. And the reason for that is that, or they'll make little notes of that and things like that. When, like, instead of Seraphin getting a bloody face from getting a bloody nose, instead there was this strange sphere of blood forming underneath his nose. That kind of thing. Or why we're able to just dive down a pipe like it's no big deal, is why I was thinking. Suddenly, you come out through the ceiling of a wide and low hall. As far as you can see, crooked stalls and makeshift shelters dot the grilled floor, lit by scavenged lanterns and light strips. Steam drifts up through the grates, concealing the room so you cannot see the walls.
Welcome to the Rhyme Market.
Kirk gestures a thick hand at the ramshackle interior.
Lodic don't know about this place.
He smiles.
Let's get a drink.
He leads you off to a nearby stall with a set of improvised stools welded to the floor in front. Artificial gravity is only popular because Hollywood doesn't want to have their actors hanging all the time. So true. So true. But also, in the first game, we were on a large enough cylindrical station that I think it spun fast enough to create artificial gravity. It was like a piece of that. These stations are too small to have that kind of rotational energy such that you could actually, not have to worry about floating through space all the time. But yeah, that's just a note. And it's very thematically appropriate in this world that no one got time to make the human beings living on these stations happier, healthier, or better adapted to the environment. This is work and survival first, and comfort probably never. Anyway, he leads you to a nearby stall with a set of improvised stools welded to the floor in front. He hooks his legs onto one, and you and Seraphin follow suit. He holds up 3 fingers to the stall's owner, and a drink in a straw-pierced packet is handed to each of you. It's also why we exclusively drink Capri Suns. Seraphin looks skeptically at the drink. We friends now or something?
Look,
Kirk takes a sip.
I'm not gonna apologize for putting you on your ass. That's on you. But like I said, I represent the contractors. And if someone is part of the family, well...
He shrugs his massive shoulders.
Then they deserve to be heard out at least.
You know who we're looking for?
Luz, he said? I know Luz, sure. Describe her.
Kirk leans back on his stool.
I'm not giving you anything more until you prove she's your sister.
Seraphin closes his eyes.
Dark hair. Used to wear it long. And messy. Bright eyes. Broad shoulders.
You see a little twitch around his eyes as he recalls.
Tough but kind. Tattoos. Nervous laugh.
He opens his eyes and glares at Kirk.
That enough?
Kirk sniffs.
Yeah, that's her.
You feel something jump in Seraphin. An almost imperceptible tension rising. It's her. His sister.
Luz.
Kirk speaks slowly, drinking between.
Or whatever her real name is one of the contractors here. She's part of the most recent contracts Lodic registered. That means...
Just tell me where she is, Seraphin demands, his impatience getting the better of him.
As I was saying...
Kirk gives Seraphin a pointed look.
Those new contractors are restricted to the pithead. In fact, that is what we were discussing when you interrupted our meeting.
Seraphin looks away in frustration, but holds his tongue.
Since the war, the Lotic Syndicate's been trying to lock down Wellspring. We went from a loose association of mining groups to an autocracy and started enforcing contracts with some seriously overreaching terms. Your sister? She's on one of those contracts. Lotic are acting like they own her and the others because, according to their contracts, they do. Which is exactly what we want to do something about. This cycle,
He forcefully taps the bar with a finger.
we are voting on a strike action and a full blockade of Flotsam. We will bring the Syndicate to the table to...
Seraphin knocks his drink away and kicks off from the table, disappearing into the market. Go after him. You catch up with Seraphin in the bustle of the Rhyme market among the steam and crowds. Seraphin, stay in the ship, bud. I got this. I can't have been the only one who saw this pitch coming a mile off. Seraphin is bristling with anger. What kind of idiots does he think we are? We should go back. No way. Seraphin glares at you. You heard that guy. He was about to recruit us for his great crusade against the Syndicate. Seraphin starts to push through the crowd towards the exit tunnel. I'm no one's tool, and you shouldn't be either, Sleeper. He shoves his way forward. We don't need to get tied up in this. We just need to get her out. Seraphin forges on ahead, and you get caught in the crowd behind him. As he disappears from view, a heavy hand falls on your back.
I want to help you, Sleeper.
Kirk's bright eyes meet yours.
The Syndicate will do nothing for him or for you. Trust me. But I need your help in return.
Kirk sighs.
I want to help.
To be clear, by the way, Hop, it is not me playing Poppy Playtime. It is us watching the Athmal video that we did of Poppy Playtime, I believe. I could be wrong. I'd have to double check. I just know that that James asked me to stream with him this weekend, and I was like, yeah, sure, all right. That said, I might try to quote-unquote guest star on his channel, so you guys will get an alert saying, hey, Shadow's guest starring on this here channel. You should go take a look. But it will not, I don't think it'll count towards stream streaks, just to be clear. I'm pretty sure it wouldn't. Otherwise, what the hell are we doing here? But yeah, it'll you watch, and then we'll give them a little support that way. So yeah, I have to double check on all that though. All I have is the appointment, not necessarily any of the deets as of yet. So we'll see how it goes. What was I gonna do? I had a thought, and then I forgot it. It's fine.
Good.
Kirk nods.
I knew you would.
Kirk places a plastic pass card into your hand. It glints with the mark of the Lotic Syndicate, a blurry ID photo laminated into its transparent interior.
This'll get you into the pit head. You can see for yourself what's happening there. Don't follow your friend to Lotic. Go to the pit head. Find Luz yourself.
He meets your eye.
When you do, come back to me. We can discuss how to free her and everyone else like her. If you go to Lotic, if you meet with them, I can't help you.
He releases your forearm and drifts back into the crowd, disappearing into the steam and darkness. You float there for a moment, buffeted by passing people clutching onto the Lotic pass, trying to decide what to do next. Boy, what a decision. What a decision, guys. We need to make a decision. Oh, there it is. The Wellspring Pithead. I was like,
I don't know which one of these two I'm supposed to necessarily go to.
yeah, either follow the or see what we can get done with Seraphin here and the guy that we helped before, and see how that plays out, or trust this Union man. That'll be the big question here. Ooh, I can buy some rare components, except I already have 13 rare components. I can buy some scrap components, but I already got 5. No. I've got... I don't know what I have. Processed scrap? Is that better than the raw scrap? I don't know. I don't know how this works. Well, it sounds like I could at least go to the pit head and not cause trouble yet, so I think that's a good way to start. Right? Like, I can at least pop in here and see if I can go find her and see what's going on with her first, and then go make a decision from there. Only one place only wanted to buy raw scrap. True. But I don't need to buy then raw scrap to then, right, like, sell it then. You know what I mean? Unless it's a good deal. Unless it's a good deal. Anyway, let's sneak on it. Of course, my love for the common man and my anti-corporate sentiment leads me to believe that I want to support the union effort, but, you know, we'll see. I'm willing to give it a play either way, see what's going on. Oh. That's funny. I could sneak a meal at the canteen here, but after 3 meals, they're gonna be like, "Hey, you don't actually work here." I find that funny. Or if honestly, if I do a bad roll, I could probably get kicked out immediately and then just never eat there again. But that's fine. Wow. So I could actually just do work for in the pit here and then just see if we can find Luz that way. Let's do it. Best way to find Luz will be to infiltrate the work crews and gain access to the deep parts of the mine. She doesn't even go here. Oh, also people wanted me to name my sleeper. My sleeper's name is Deborah. You have to say it like that. It's very important. It's so important that Deborah is the name of this sleeper. So important. All right, that went really well. We got, you end up on a crew with a locked-in contractor. They tell you their colleagues are deeper in the mine. There you go. Toss this in, get another round. You have to say it like Ray Romano. Yes, that is what I'm saying. And a locked-in contractor, they tell you colleagues are deeper in the mine. We got 2 more ticks to get ourselves there, so that's great. That's fantastic. We're making our way, friends, making progress. Excuse me. It's so funny to me that I have collected a lot of material to try to fix myself if I ever need fixing, but I haven't. Either I've been playing it real safe or I've just been really lucky. All these dice here. So the idea is that if I roll really poorly on certain missions, I can take damage to my dice to the point where I start losing dice slots. And you can see each of my dice slots have taken 1 bar of damage, which is, you know, not great, but it's not terrible either. And so I've been gathering a lot of materials to fix them, but I can't fix them until they're broken. And so I've just been stockpiling endless stacks of this stuff, hoping that eventually I take enough damage so that I can use it to fix the damage. Yeah, what's Deborah from? It's from Everybody Loves Raymond, which was a largely inoffensive and pretty bland sitcom from the mid-2000s about a guy named Raymond, played by Raymond Romano, and his wife, Deborah. So there you go. That's pretty much it. And his brother, which also had they all had very distinct voices. That was like the most fun of Everybody Loves Raymond. What was the name of Raymond's brother? Brad Garrett.
Who has this really low voice and he talks like this.
It's very good. I do like his voice a lot. I only remember him because there was this really like not very good family comedy back in the mid 2000s called The Pacifier, where Vin Diesel had to take care of like 5 children. you know, big buff Vin Diesel has to has to become like a family dude and try to keep all these children safe while he's trying to like save government secrets. And Brad Garrett plays this like super macho like high school wrestling coach who's always trying to like emasculate Vin Diesel. And it doesn't work. Was it Vin Diesel? It was some muscly boy. Who was that? Yeah, it's Vin Diesel. Yeah, for sure. I just like the idea that like a comedian just tries to like gas up some extremely muscly dude and he's like, well, you can't handle it. And he just gets his absolute shit rocked. It's good. It's good. It's great. It's fun. I'm gonna go eat some food in the game, not in real life. I already ate dinner, but I'm getting a little hungry out here, so I'm gonna buy some of that slow-cooked tomato and pepper stew. And now my health is full. He's one of the most cookie-cutter macho men, but loyal and devoted D&D player. Just gonna say, he's been a long time tabletop guy. Gets purple nurpled. All right, here we go. I'm going to drop another die into this situation. You are heading down to the deepest part of the shaft with a tip-off that Luz is there. He'd appreciate Dome. He absolutely would appreciate Dome. In fact, I'm surprised he hasn't done Dome already. He's done D&D with the Critical Role folks before. It was kind of fun because you know when they bring celebrity guests on and they're kind of like slowly bringing them into the mix, like it takes a while to kind of get kicking. But he was already in, man. He was already like he had his character written up. He knew what was up. He knew what like active checks to do. It was fun. It was neat to see him kind of jump in. Second favorite was Stephen Colbert because it was fun to watch him like. I don't know if anybody ever watched that, but Stephen Colbert and Matt Mercer did a one-on-one little D&D one-shot. And Stephen Colbert, if you guys don't know, original improv guy turned Colbert Report satire political comedy guy turned late night talk show host. Huge, massive Lord of the Rings nerd. He played Dungeons and Dragons like in the 80s as a kid. And there's this moment when they're like playing together, when Matt Mercer and Steven are playing together, where like you can see like the childhood wonder re-enter Steven's eyes as he's like, "Oh, I'm back. Oh, I'm back in, baby." It's really cute. Highly recommend if you've never watched it. Just I'm sure Stephen Colbert, Matt Mercer, D&D, you'd find it quick. They did a second one, and that was cute too because they brought in a couple of I think they brought in Marisha and why can't I think of Laura Bailey for another episode, which is very cute. That critical episode's 9 years old. I know, it's wild. Time marches quick. The shaft descends towards a sump in the depths of the pit. Here, the air is freezing cold to prevent the ice from melting into globules of floating water. If your breath carried water, you would be able to see it in the air, but the absence of steam in each exhalation only serves to remind you of your own strangeness. Because you're a robot, just fanning in and out air and nothing's changing about it, unlike us, where we're adding our own moisture when we breathe out. Anyway, not that anyone else notices. The workers' heads are low, their eyes fixed on their work, shuttling chunks of ice and tools up and down the shaft. At the end of the nearby tunnels, you see the bright sparks of ice cutting in progress, slabs hanging in the air that strange way they do in 0G. Some loose memories of the time before Darkside, before Lane, before freedom come to your mind. The familiarity of the cold, the sparks, the endless toil. It chills you more than the packed ice on either side of you ever could. You reach the bottom of the shaft, a metal grill marking the terminus. It squeals as you push open the barred door set into it, and the safety lights flicker on, lighting up glittering ice particles all around the hard beams. It's as if all the stars are held here in this cavern. As your eyes adjust, the massive space comes into focus. It seems to have no up or down, just countless dark shafts and terraced pits cut into its side. All around, silhouetted by their work lights, contractors cut and haul and gather. This is where those locked-in workers are being held, caught in a contract clause that permits an endless shift. The atmosphere is grim. At the center of the cavern floats a construction of welded-together habitation units. A heavy twist of cables stretches from this impoverished structure past you and up the shaft behind, tethering it to a central power source. Core the starter planet on Outer Worlds? Sure, I get you. On each of the 6 sides of this strange apartment block, a set of struts project outward, bracing the construction against the cavern walls. The block itself is wrapped in insulation, clad in protective plates. It glows with small apertures and lights. You approach the nearest entrance.